In 2001, following the release of their critically acclaimed album Relationship of Command, At the Drive-In, a band known for its intense live performances and raw energy, announced an indefinite hiatus, citing creative differences and a desire to explore different musical directions. Guitarist Omar Rodríguez López and vocalist Cedric Bixler Zavala, who had been the driving forces behind At the Drive-In, decided to channel their creative energy into a new project, a venture that would eventually become the Mars Volta. The formation of the Mars Volta marked a significant shift in musical direction and style from the post-hardcore sound of At the Drive-In to a more experimental and progressive approach. The band quickly began to develop a reputation for their intricate compositions, blending elements of rock, jazz, Latin, and psychedelia. Think Led Zeppelin meets Santana, soaked in the sweat of the MC5. Their first release was an EP, Tremulant, in 2002, which served as a precursor to the ambitious and expansive sound they would finally realize in their eventual debut album. Hi everyone, my name is Dynasty, and welcome back to another edition of Dynasty Vinyl. In today's episode, I'm talking about one of my favorite records, De-Loused in the Comatorium, the ambitious and perhaps perfect debut from the Mars Volta. It's a truly mesmerizing and intense album that has captivated listeners since its release in 2003. For those of you who might not be familiar with this record, it's more than just a debut. It's a daring and complex concept album that tells a haunting story through its explosive and genre-defying music. So sit back and I'll share why this album deserves a spot in your collection. De-Loused in the Comatorium was recorded at The Mansion, a legendary recording studio located in Laurel Canyon, Los Angeles, owned by famed record producer Rick Rubin. This historic venue has seen many iconic albums and artists recorded within its walls. From Jay-Z, to Lorde, to Dua Lipa, Slipknot, the Red Hot Chili Peppers, and many, many more. The band's lineup during the recording included Omar Rodríguez López on guitar, Cedric Bixler Zavala on vocals, Jon Theodore on drums, and Jeremy Michael Ward handling sound manipulation and effects, with contributions from two members of the Red Hot Chili Peppers, Flea on bass, and John Frusciante on guitar and keys. The album was produced by Rick Rubin, known for his work with a wide range of artists, from heavy metal bands like Slayer to hip-hop legends like the Beastie Boys. His credits read like a who's who of Grammy award-winning hitmakers. His production of De-Loused in the Comatorium helped to bring clarity and focus to the band's dense and often chaotic sound, allowing the intricate arrangements and technical prowess of the musicians to shine through. At its core, De-Loused in the Comatorium is a concept album telling the tragic and surreal story of a character named Serpentaxed. The narrative is based on a novella written by Cedric Bixler Zavala and Jeremy Ward, a fantastical story written with metaphor layered on metaphor. Much like the album, this novella is not a straight line. It's said to be inspired by the life and death of their friend Julio Venegas, an artist from El Paso who struggled with mental health issues and ultimately took his own life. The story follows Serpentaxed, a man who is tormented by his dark thoughts, perhaps schizophrenia, and the art it inspires. Ultimately, Serpentaxed considers suicide as a way to escape his suffering and the monochrome existence that he sees in his waking life. In a moment of desperation, he overdoses on morphine left behind by his mother after her passing, which sends him into a week-long coma. In this state, Serpentaxed experiences a series of nightmarish visions and encounters with creatures known as the Tremulants, seeking a prince for their throne. As mentioned, this album is not a straight line. If you're streaming it, I would caution against using the shuffle feature, as you could end up on a track like Tírame a las arenas or Son et lumire. Rather, I would suggest starting from the beginning, letting the album take you on its intended journey. Son et lumire leads into Inertiatic ESP, which together will give you a sense of what you can expect from this album. Ferocious at times, ethereal, atmospheric, eccentric, and altogether moving. Originally released on CD back in 2003, I listened to this disc repeatedly, convinced I was listening to a game changer in the genre of prog rock. My vinyl copy, which I purchased from Rotate This in Toronto, located on Ossington Avenue, north of Queen and south of Dundas on the west side, is a staple in the city of Toronto and has been since its days on Queen Street West. It's another gem of a record shop in the city known as the Big Smoke, Hogtown, and the Six, carrying both new and used vinyl, including rare and hard-to-find first pressings. The prices are fair, and the staff is known for their customer service. As mentioned, my vinyl copy, which was released in 2020 on not one, but two 180-gram vinyl discs, is a gatefold that opens to contain some of what you would hope to find in a vinyl release: exciting artwork and album credits. There are no lyrics printed anywhere within the gatefold. However, there is a poster of the alternate album cover by Storm Thorgerson. Both discs sound fantastic, and this album pairs nicely with my splatter vinyl copy of Francis the Mute. Numbered, of course. Not a big deal, eh? But I digress. Each song on the album represents a different part of Serpentaxt's journey through his dreamlight state. For example, in the track Inertiatic ESP, the lyrics describe a chaotic and disorienting nature of his experience. The repetition of "Now I'm Lost" in Cedric's lyrics reflects Serpentaxt's confusion and fear as he navigates the surreal landscape of his mind. The album's lyrics are often cryptic and abstract, which adds to the sense of unease and tension throughout the record. My favorite track on the album is Cicatriz ESP, a 12-minute opus that dissolves into a dreamlike breakdown midway through, coinciding with Serpentaxt becoming Prince of the Tremulants. I think. Serpentaxt exclaims, "I am lost" in the lyrics, as well as "I've defected," which I took to mean he has accepted his alternate reality as his new home. While I might be unclear as to what's really going on at this stage in the album/story, what shines through is the arrangement of the song and the musicianship. Each player contributes to its intensity in their own unique way. Jon Theodore's playing is a standout on this album, to be sure, and essential to the making of this masterpiece. Cedric's vocal coming out of the breakdown perfectly illuminates the tension within the song, blending beautifully with the driving somber rhythm created by Jon and Flea. I hope you have a nice set of earphones or speakers to fully appreciate this track, and don't be afraid to push the volume. Just a little. One of the most poignant tracks on this album is Televators, which describes the moment when Serpentaxt finally awakens from his coma and is left to confront the reality of his situation. The lyrics evoke a sense of sorrow and inevitability as he prepares to take his own life. You should have seen the curse that flew right by you. Page of concrete, Steinwach's crutch and hobbled sway, auto de fe, a capillary hint of red. Everyone knows the last toes are always the coldest to go. The imagery of Page of concrete, a capillary hint of red, and the last toes are always the coldest to go is beautiful and disturbing, capturing the sense of despair that drives Serpentaxt to his final act. Despite his brief return to consciousness, approximately 2 years, Serpentaxt ultimately decides that he cannot escape the pain and suffering that plagued him. This life is far too mundane compared to his life as a prince in the realm of the Tremulants, and he ends his life on an appointed day by jumping off a bridge into the freeway/portal to the ESP below. De-Loused in the Comatorium is an album that demands to be experienced in its entirety for its musical innovation, its sonic presence, and its emotionally charged narrative. The Mars Volta created a work of art that pushes the boundaries of rock music, blending genres and styles to create a sound that is uniquely their own. The album's story of Serpentaxt is both tragic and thought-provoking, offering listeners a glimpse into the struggles of a man who is unable to escape his dark thoughts. And on that note, I have tremendous empathy for anyone struggling with their mental health. From my own personal experiences, I would like to say you're not alone. There are people in your life who believe in you. There is help available, including free help, such as BetterHelp. I'm not sponsored by them, but I've used it, and it was a good start for me. I would encourage you to understand your emotions and have an intimate knowledge of your values, as it's the only way to trust your gut. Breathe in deeply through your nose and out your mouth. Let your thoughts come and go like a conveyor belt. Observe without judgment. Check the facts. I will leave some helpful links in the description below. You can do this. For vinyl enthusiasts, De-Loused and the Comatorium is a must-have. The album's intricate production, dynamic range, and powerful storytelling make it a perfect candidate for the warmth and depth that vinyl provides. Whether you're a fan of progressive rock, concept albums, or simply looking for something new and challenging to add to your collection, this album is worth your time. So, the next time you're flipping through crates at your local record store, keep an eye out for De-Loused and the Comatorium. You won't be disappointed. If you've made it this far, I would appreciate it if you left a comment below. Perhaps even a like if you like the content. I'm Ling Dynasty for Dynasty Vinyl. Thanks for watching.